Okay. Time for the drawing to begin. And where are we going to draw today? We're going to draw in this newish, don't look at that, newish sketchbook. Now this thing it's so thick. Look at that. It's a thick one. And I'm going to draw in it. I'm going to continue drawing in it, as I have obviously already started. And I'm going to use a thick book as a way of resting my hand, because I can't really rest my hand on anything in that way. But I'm just going to go through this sketchbook and keep up my chops. In this case, this is a ballpoint pen choppage I'm doing today. And I have my coffee. It's so good. I don't normally drink coffee in the evening time. That's the message. All right, I am going to remove the cap and start ball pinning. This is a Bic medium oil-based. That's important. A Mic. It's a Mic medium. It's a Mic medium oil-based ballpoint pen. I've already done much of this, and I'm going to continue doing much of it. Now today, I think I'm going to work around here. In fact, I'm going to. And let me start by working at this resolution, or this scale. I'll zoom in just a little bit. But I want to get what's the word I'm looking for? The direction. That was the word. That was a difficult word. I want to get the direction right. So I was thinking that I would like to darken all of this area in. So I will give it a boundary like so. So the dark ink will buttress against here. I like that word, buttress. And did I want it to do that? I was so focused on the word buttress that I don't think I really thought that one through. But you really can't think these things through, not really. You just have to do it, and then just see what happens. You know what? With that spirit in mind, I'm not even going to think. I'm just going to go, ooh, like that. Right. Yes. I'm thinking too much. If you think too much, then you're just never going to get anything done. So what I recommend to myself is to not think too much. So let's see how much I can get done of this darkened area, or this potential darkened area here. Let's see. I am pressing rather hard here because I'm not too concerned about quality of the line over here. Not too. I'm a little concerned, but not too concerned. So there's a nice curve right there. And I'm going to take advantage of it. Meaning I'm going to use it rather than draw over it. Or at least that's the plan. It's a very loosely conceived plan because it's on the spot. I just thought of it. Will I go through with it? Looks like, actually, yeah, I think I will. Looks like I'm going to go through with it. Go through the plan. Right. Now I have these lines here that I'm working in between. And they go kind of like in this fashion, see? So that gives it gives the shape a sense of roundness there. It feels round because of these contour lines. All right, and I want to bring this up around here, so I'll do that, like so. I didn't really want to go into that line, and I did, and that's fine, because I can work with it. It's always going to be fine, because I have a ballpoint pen, and there are no mistakes, because everything that I put down, there's a chance that I can continue working on it. So for example, if I go into here like so, oops, I went into there, you see. So well, now that means that I'm gonna work the ink. If I want to take that little tiny line right there away, then I will work the ink into it. Now is a good time to zoom in. All right, so I was talking about that area right there. See, a little tiny bit there. Not a problem, because I can just work it into the piece. So there are no mistakes, and because everything's a mistake. When everything's a mistake, there are no mistakes. That is so philosophical. That's true. Yeah, I like the way this is going. It's a sloppy time right now, but I can see where it is headed, and I think I'm okay with it. No choice. Now my hand is resting on here, and I don't like that. So let me find something that I can put down to protect it. Aha! Let me use this cardboard here. Very good, very good. Yes, that'll work. I don't really want to touch the paper. Why? Because my hand has oil in it. Even if I wash it, it's still oily. And that oil will transfer to the page. And that's not good for the paper. It's not good for the ink. The ink doesn't want to cooperate with the oil from my skin. Or does it? You know, I'm starting to think maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it loves the oil. I've never really tested it. I just assume. Surely there's some medium, like acrylic paint wouldn't work really well when there's an oil slick on it. Not that my hand would create an oil slick per se, but it'll be slicky. All right, I'm gonna turn this right now. See, the problem with this thick book is, and it's a book actually, so, is getting a smooth line here. That's a problem. But I persevere. I won't let it stop me. Okay, so over here, I have to figure out how I'm going to make this work. So I'm going to go very light as I can, where I'm still making marks. And I go faster and lighter to get that pencil look. Very light. Okay, so I've connected the line to that line there. See? Like that. And now I want to deal with this over here. I don't know if I want to keep this or not. Maybe. It's a nice line. It's a shame to let it go. I run into that often, where I see something that looks good, but it doesn't quite work with the whole piece, so I have to color over it or incorporate it somehow into the piece that is different from what I'm looking at. So this is a perfect example. So this line right here may disappear. Right here. Because it's just distracting to the whole piece. Right. Okay. Now I'm going to try and smooth this out because there's some inconsistencies that I cannot abide. And I might do some cross hatching. What is that? It's when I go in the opposite direction. No, when I go in a perpendicular direction from this stroke here. So I'm doing this, and cross hatching is this, right? You know, I'll do it just to show you what I'm talking about. Doesn't always work as being something that looks good, but I think in this case it might work. If I go light, I don't want it to be an obvious effect. I'll start up in here. And what's the benefit of it? It will cover some areas that weren't being covered when you're going in the one direction. Right, so like that little tiny bit right there. All right. Now I'm just tapping it. There are two ways of applying ink with the ballpoint pen. Or maybe a third. Some people I've seen take the ink directly out of the cartridge and lay it down on the page. I don't do that. The two ways that I use are tapping and stroking. So this is a stroke, and this is a tap. Right? And when I tap it, I don't tap very hard at all, because it's just not that kind of pen. These pens don't really work that way. There are other pens that are good for that, and that's called stippling. But this is just to fill in a particular area, so I tap a little bit like that. And then sometimes I do a tap stroke, like a tap, tap, stroke, tap, stroke. It's like a combination of the two, which is what I'm doing right now. Like I'm stroking and tapping at the same time. Okay. Tap, stroke, tap, stroke. There's little strokes here. I'm having little strokes, mini strokes right here. But all of this is cross hatching, and I don't know if you can see it, but it really is just looking more consistent, more filled in here, more opaque, which is the look I was going for. It'll be more obvious here that I'm doing cross hatching. So it's important that I'm more careful around this area. When I say careful, what I mean by being careful is being very aware of where the strokes are being put down and how hard I'm pushing. And if I push a little too hard, then that sets the bar. That's where I need to go, and I can't go less than that. Because if I do, then that area where I pushed the ink down too hard will show up. That'll be the point of focus. If you want to blend, you want everything around it to be the same. So consistency there. Yeah, and I don't know if I'm going to go into it. I'm trying to give you verbally what the processes in my mind are going through. So I'm talking aloud, I'm talking through this with you. Will I fill in this area? Hardly at all. Hardly at all at this point. Right, okay, so I like that. So I'm going to turn it around here. See where I am. There's areas like right around in there and here that I'm going to do something with, but not this moment. I'll give it a rest. So yes, this area here will be similar to that. So let me go ahead and just get on it. Okay. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Oh, okay. And this area right here, I wanted to originally darken in greatly, so I'm going to darken it in greatly. It's going to be greatly, greatly darkened. It's going to be so great that it's dark. And I might leave a little bit of that line like that, because it just looks nice. No reason, just I like it. It's kind of the point of this whole piece. It's just no reason, just I like it. That's why. What's weird is I don't know I like it until I do it. Very odd. I like it. What do you like? I don't know yet. When will you know? When it's done. And then I might not like it. How weird is that? Okay. Alright, and I will continue in that fashion, in this direction. Because it has presented itself in that way. And it really is a sense of, or I have a sense of really not being in control so much. I put a line down and I don't really know if I'm going to like it before I do it, and then after I know. But even then, I don't know until it's done. At some point I go, aha, I like it. I'm going to stop working on that area and move on to the next until I'm done, or not. This is one of those moments where you realize time really does tell. It's not immediate. So how do you know when it's done? You just know. You just know. Figure, I can do no more with this. I just finished a painting, and I don't paint very often. It's not something that I do because it takes too long. I think this is going to take me 3 days, a week. And then I kept painting and just finding little things that I need to work on, and this area is not quite what I want, and then what about this over here? Oh, that's good. But then I come back later and it's like, oh, I need to fix that, or enhance this. And this process just kept going because I can correct it. You see, with painting I can paint over an area that I don't quite like, or it's not quite there. In fact, that's the whole process, is you paint over it and paint over it, or at least it is with me. And with ballpoint pen, it's not the same way. Once you get to a certain point, you can't go anymore. Like I can continue putting ink in here, but it's not going to do anything because it's just going to ruin it, because it's already it's saturated. Yeah, but because with painting you can paint over something and it looks entirely different, and then you can paint over it again and it looks entirely different again, and there's something that's actually kind of prohibitive for me. It doesn't allow me to let go and finish the piece, because I keep seeing things that I want to enhance or make better. I just can't make peace with it until it's perfect, and which it never is, right? So finally I just had to say, all right, I'm done. And I'm happy with the results, actually, but yeah, it's a laborious process. originally didn't want it to get that close, and now it is, and there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm just going to have to live with it. Am I okay with that? Sure, it's all right. It doesn't look bad. Did I have other plans earlier? Yes. Did they remain, or was there a change in plans? There was a change in plans. Will I sleep tonight? Oh yeah. Like a baby. And right, oh, you'll see this has come around like so, and this line stopped really. So what do I do with that then? I do that, and that. Should have done that at the beginning, but I didn't. And that. Oh my goodness, all these things happening. Seemingly all at once. Okay. So I have an interesting, like a double-decker thing happening here. And I kind of like it. It adds some detail, but there's some junkiness happening here, so I have to fix that. I don't want any junkiness. Yes, yes, yes. Now I bring this down like so. And then this blends in with that. I overshot that a bit, but that's fine because it goes into the thing, into the other area with no problems. It blends fine. I keep going over this area here because there's a little hiccup bump up there I want to fix, which I just, overshot again. Again, it's okay because it blends in nicely. Yeah, I like this darker area under there because it adds like a shadow almost. And so I don't want to mess with that too much. I want to darken this a little bit, but leaving that area. Bring these down. Tap, tap, tap stroke. Tap, tap, tap stroke, like that. Just barely touching it. If you just barely touch the paper with your nib, then it'll eventually, ink will attach itself to the page if the ink is flowing well enough in the pen to begin with, which is why you want a quality pen or an adequate pen. It doesn't have to be a expensive pen, just has to, the ink has to flow out of it. Sometimes the temperature of the room affects that. The age of the ink affects that. How much you push on it will affect that. See all these factors, right? Okay. Yeah. And I think this looks unfinished, honestly. So I have to do something about it, and I will. What I mean by unfinished is this area right here needs. So what I will do is bring this line down like so while I'm filling it in. Wow, that actually filled in rather quickly. No problem there. Now there's this little area in here that I'd like to fill in because I don't want an outline. Yeah, that also filled in rather quickly. Okay, very good, very good, very good. Now, to wrap this up this session I will, well, no, I'm not going to wrap it up just yet. I just saw something I have to fix, otherwise I'm not going to sleep like a baby tonight. But right now I'm doing this area. This is not the area I was talking about. It's down here. Okay. Yeah, all right. Turn it a little bit so I get a better angle from which to lay down the stroke. Yeah. I'm not pressing it hard at all. At all. Very, very light. But you'll notice that the ink is flowing. And this is important, because if I'm pressing down and no ink is coming out, then what am I doing? Why am I here? Right. Now, for all I know, I'm going to color this in completely in the next session. But at this point, I'm going to leave it open. Yeah. It looks a little too bright to me, but I'm talking about this area right here. But who knows? Yes. Now, the part that I wanted to complete, I should say, before I move on is this area right here. Okay. Not too shabby. And a little bit more here, just to smooth it out. There. Okay. And finally, I'll just put the capper here in this area. Like so. Yeah. And yeah, I really do think it needs some cross-hatching. And I was going in, I believe, I was going in this direction, so let me continue in that direction, like this. A little more cross-hatching here. Yeah, you see how you can notice it, but it's also not noticeable. It's like an illusion, just fills it in. It's still light. So you get almost a gray color in here. Well, not almost. That is a gray color. There's no almost about it. Not black, it's not white, it's gray. Like that. All right, there we go. There we go. There we go. Ah, can't let you go yet. Still a little bit left to do. Now, earlier I did this move, but it's too little. It needs to be more pronounced, so I will do that. And I'm sure that I'm going to incorporate this somehow into the piece a little bit more, like maybe move this up like that. I'm not sure yet, but it just sticking out like this is not working for me. But it's going to be sticking out for now. It's going to live this life until it changes, or I change my mind and like it. Who knows? Yeah, not too bad. Just need to make it less opaque than the area below it. Yeah. Okay. A lot of tapping here, tap stroke. Okay. And then finally, this area. And this is going to be softer, because I want it to be a more gray color. Be careful, because I'm putting my pen right up against that area. I'm not going to try, I'm trying not to go into that area right there. But that happens. I overshoot the area that I think I'm trying to fill in, and then my line is across the border. It's an immigrant. Right. Yeah, look at that. That's all right. A little bit more just to make it consistent. I'm hardly pressing at all. Letting the gravity put the pen on the page, not the effort of my hand. Just guiding it. Very light. Very, very light. That's why I'm speaking quietly. All right. Not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, I'm going to work on this area at some point in the future. But let's take a look and see what this is like. All right. Right, so I worked here. Did a lot of work for about an hour. Yeah, it's an hour's worth of work. Pretty good, pretty good. I'm not sure how much I'm going to do up in here, but I can imagine something kind of similar, darkness. You see, and then maybe a similar amount of darkness here so it's balanced. I don't like symmetry, so maybe it's a lot of maybes. There's some maybes happening. I mean, who knows? Maybe